In the center of the stage, inside a gilded cage, a man opened his eyes. Below, a sea of masked faces stirred, a collective murmur rising from the crowd. An auctioneer's voice declared him the night's final, most prized offering, an Omega, with a starting bid of 50,000 CRS. Before the words fully settled, the floor erupted. The bids climbed with dizzying speed, a testament to the face the system had granted him. He watched, stunned, as his value shot past 60 million. He scanned the bidders, his gaze landing on a woman who relentlessly drove the price higher. A mask obscured most of her face, but her eyes held the depth of a twilight sky. Her dark, cascading curls shifted with each languid lift of her paddle. It was her voice, however, that captivated him. A low, husky tone that was both lazy and commanding as she announced her bids. When she offered 65 million, the sound alone seemed to still the entire hall. He felt a frantic hope flutter in his chest. He would be hers. A crisp, cold voice shattered the moment. 100 million CRS. The speaker declared that the Omega was his. All eyes turned to a man whose mask could not conceal the aura of aristocratic power that clung to him like a second skin. The other bidders fell silent, their paddles lowered in deference. Liam's gaze flew back to the woman. Her hand, holding her paddle, was frozen mid-air. A flicker of shock in her stunning eyes gave way to a profound sense of loss. With a slight shake of her head, she rose gracefully and departed. His hope left with her. The auctioneer's gavel fell with a sharp crack, sealing his fate. He glared through the golden bars at the man who had shattered his fantasy. Later, in a sterile room behind the stage, a handler presented him to the man, addressing him as General Vance. The general approached the cage, his brow furrowed slightly as he observed the defiant figure within. He questioned why the Omega, so spirited on stage, now seemed so sullen. The handler, sweating, stammered reassurances about the quality of the merchandise. Adrian Vance walked to the edge of the cage and bent slightly, his dark eyes locking onto Liam's through the bars. He informed the captive that from now on, he was his alpha. Liam met his gaze with a fierce glare before turning his back, presenting only the defiant line of his shoulders. He would not go with this man. The handler quickly unlocked the cage and dragged Liam out, forcing him to his knees before the general. The man apologized profusely for the Omega's lack of training, offering to have him properly disciplined. Adrian Vance dismissed the offer with a wave. He would handle the training himself. He was taken to a penthouse that overlooked a sprawling, glittering metropolis. As the door slid shut, a uniformed servant took the general's coat. Adrian Vance settled onto a sprawling sofa and, with a slow, deliberate motion, removed his mask. The face revealed was brutally handsome, with sharp, chiseled features. But his good looks did nothing to quell the resentment burning in Liam's chest. The general's gaze swept over him, and he asked in a tone of supreme arrogance if Liam knew who he was. Liam met his condescending stare with a roll of his eyes and muttered an insult under his breath. Adrian's handsome features tightened, the temperature in the room plummeting. He demanded to know what Liam had said. An immense, almost tangible pressure crashed down, followed by a sharp, cold scent like ozone after a storm. Liam's body went limp, and he crumpled to the floor, a searing heat exploding at the base of his neck. It was a dizzying mix of pain, numbness, and a strange, itching thrum. He grit his teeth, forcing himself to look up and ask what the man had done to him, accusing him of using some kind of poison. The general approached, his long fingers tracing the burning patch of skin on Liam's neck. His touch was cold. His voice was low, stating his dislike for disobedient Omegas, and pronouncing Liam far too unruly. Unbidden tears of physiological distress streamed down Liam's face. He sniffled, glaring up at his captor, determined not to show weakness. Adrian watched the display. The tear-streaked face, the rabbit-red eyes, the stubbornly jutted chin, and his expression flickered with something complex. Abruptly, the crushing pressure vanished. The suffocating scent of ozone receded like a tide. He remarked on Liam's delicate nature, wondering aloud how someone so fragile had survived the black market. He cupped Liam's chin, forcing their eyes to meet, and asked if it was because of that face. Liam blinked, a sudden, desperate curiosity overriding his fear. He asked the general, calling him Adrian with a shaky voice, if he could see a mirror. He explained that since his rebirth, he hadn't seen his own reflection. The request was so unexpected that Adrian's hand paused. Liam clasped the man's hand with both of his, pleading that it was important. After a moment of strange contemplation, Adrian relented and led him to a bedroom. He stood before a full-length mirror, his breath catching in his throat. The reflection was of a stranger with silver hair that shone like moonlight and eyes the color of a winter sky. His skin was pale, and beneath one eye was a single, stark beauty mark. It was undeniably a masterpiece of a face, but it felt dangerously androgynous. Adrian came up behind him, his arms circling Liam's waist as he murmured a question about whether the beautiful face was unfamiliar. Liam flinched away, putting distance between them, his voice sharp with alarm as he reminded the general that he was a man. Adrian's expression darkened. He ordered Liam to come here. Liam stood his ground, defensively stating that he wasn't gay and the man to keep his hands to himself. The general coldly stated that it seemed a lesson in his true identity was necessary. The scent of ozone flooded the room again. Liam's body grew weak, his breath coming in ragged gasps as the back of his neck burned. A sweet, vanilla-like fragrance began to emanate from his own skin, a scent of surrender he couldn't control. He felt a deep, primal craving for something he couldn't name. Adrian lifted him effortlessly and tossed him onto the bed. He pinned Liam down, the sharp point of a canine tooth tracing the sensitive skin of his neck. Liam's body shuddered uncontrollably. Every nerve ending was on fire. The slight friction of the sheets felt like an electric current. The vanilla scent grew heavier, cloyingly sweet. A low moan escaped his lips as he writhed, a desperate heat coiling in his gut. His hands clenched the sheets, knuckles white. Adrian's hand slid under his shirt, his cool palm against Liam's feverish skin. He tried to push him away, a final shred of his old self crying out in protest that he was a man. Adrian held his head steady, his voice a dark whisper in Liam's ear, confirming that while he was a man, he was also his omega. When the general's teeth finally sank into his neck, a sharp, piercing pain was followed by a wave of inexplicable relief. His body went rigid, then boneless. He was aware of a warm trickle of fluid, unable to tell if it was saliva or blood. The pain subsided, replaced by rolling waves of intense pleasure. His consciousness blurred, leaving only instinct. His legs wrapped around Adrian's waist of their own accord. His entire being was focused on the throbbing nexus of their bond at his neck. A shameless sound tore from his throat as his body arched, meeting every movement. The scents of vanilla and ozone mingled, becoming an intoxicating storm that consumed them both. His vision swam, and his world narrowed to the hot breath on his skin and the building pressure within him. In a final, violent spasm, his mind went white, leaving only the raw, instinctual need to submit. He woke to the sight of red marks blooming across his skin and the crushing realization of what had happened. He had been with a man. He was tainted. The life he had dreamed of, with a beautiful woman, was gone forever. A mechanical voice echoed in his mind, congratulating him on his successful escape from the black market. He buried his face in the pillow, his voice muffled as he told the system he felt anything but good. The system informed him that he had a mission to complete. He had to become the spiritual leader for all Omegas in this world. The idea was so absurd he thought it was a joke. He, a waste of a person, a spiritual leader? He refused outright. The system's voice turned cold, informing him that failure to complete the mission would result in punishment. A 10,000-volt electric shock. Before he could protest the coercive terms, a searing current ripped through his body, making his hair stand on end and his muscles seize. Through chattering teeth, he sobbed that he would try. The system cheerfully expressed its confidence and then went silent. He was still wallowing in despair when Adrian entered, dressed in a crisp military uniform. The general noted his miserable state and asked if he was upset because it was his first time. The comment only made Liam feel more wretched, and he turned away. Adrian told him to get up, that he was taking him to see a mech tournament. The word mech was like a defibrillator to his soul. He shot up in bed, his eyes shining. Adrian seemed amused by the sudden transformation. Mechs were every man's dream, Liam exclaimed, scrambling to get dressed. They were seated in a VIP skybox. A soldier entered, briefly stunned by Liam's appearance, before addressing the general. He reported that the day's match was between the heavy-class Juggernaut and the light-class Seraph, with the winner earning a direct commission under the general's command. Adrian nodded, then glanced at Liam and ordered the soldier to bring some pastries. The soldier complied, but Liam had no interest in food. His attention was riveted to the arena below, where the two colossal machines battled with a brutal, flowing grace that was more art than combat. It was like watching Transformers come to life. He jumped to his feet, cheering and shouting until the match concluded, his mind buzzing with excitement. He lamented that piloting a mech must be the coolest thing in the world. Adrian, draping an arm around his shoulders, remarked that it wasn't impossible, that he could teach him. Liam stiffened, shrugging off the arm, mumbling that it was weird for two men to be so close. Adrian's brow furrowed, but he simply asked if Liam was no longer interested in learning. Immediately, Liam's principles vanished. He threw his arms around the general's waist, cooing that he loved nothing more than being close to him. Suddenly, the door to the skybox opened. The pilot of the Juggernaut, a man named Travis, strode in. His eyes landed on Liam, and his face twisted in disgust. He addressed Adrian, asking how he could allow a filthy Omega like that to touch him. Adrian's demeanor instantly turned glacial. Travis pressed on, revealing that Liam, or as he called him, his brother, Tobin, had been sold to the black market by their family the previous year. He sneered about the things that must have been done to an Omega in a place like that. Adrian cut him off, his voice lethally quiet as he ordered the man to get out. When Travis tried to argue, Adrian repeated the command with such force that Travis finally retreated. Adrian then covered Liam's ears, telling him not to listen. Liam looked up at him and nodded, a cold realization dawning on him. So his original body, this body, had been sold by his own family. It was a betrayal that resonated with the abandonment he'd suffered in his past life. Adrian looked down at him and stated with solemn gravity that as his Omega, no one would ever dare bully him again. A warmth spread through Liam's chest. No one had ever promised to protect him before. On the way home, Liam toyed with a model of the Seraph mech that Adrian had given him. Thinking of the system's ridiculous mission, an idea sparked. If he became a famous mech pilot, he could gain a platform. He asked Adrian if he could compete. The general replied flatly that Omegas were not eligible. When Liam asked why, Adrian explained that in the Empire, the duty of an Omega was to procreate. The archaic rule made Liam slump in his seat, defeated. But then Adrian added that there might be another way. Liam sat up, asking what it was. Adrian looked at him, a smirk playing on his lips. "Beg me." Liam had to admit, the man had a certain infuriating charm. He clasped his hands together and pleaded with his dear general to help him. Adrian pinched his cheek, murmuring that it would depend on his performance that night. Liam's face flushed crimson at the implication. Adrian kept his promise and brought Liam to a military facility. He was led past rows of towering mechs and into a simulator pod. He learned the basics quickly, his past life as a gamer giving him an intuitive grasp of the controls. He was soon sparring against the base's soldiers, defeating them all. Adrian, reviewing the combat logs, looked genuinely surprised by his natural talent. Liam boasted that he used to be a pro streamer. Adrian simply shook his head and granted him permission to pilot a real mech the next day. When they arrived at the training grounds, Travis was there, blocking their path. He furiously demanded to know why Adrian had rescinded his commission, arguing that as the tournament champion, he had earned his place. Adrian replied icily that his rules were the only rules that mattered. Travis accused him of retaliating on Liam's behalf, calling it an outrage that a talented pilot like himself was being cast aside for an Omega. Adrian kicked him hard, sending Travis sprawling, and then led Liam past him without a second glance. In the days that followed, the base was rife with whispers. Soldiers pointed and muttered about the general throwing away a champion for his Omega pet. They dismissed Liam's skill in the simulator as opponents going easy on him. It was a familiar, suffocating feeling, reminiscent of the bullying from his past. His passion for piloting began to wane under the weight of their contempt. Noticing his despondency, Adrian made a proposal. He asked if Liam dared to fight Travis in a public match. He explained that Travis had leaked a distorted version of their confrontation online, fueling the rumors. He wanted Liam to defeat him with a mech and silence the gossip once and for all. Liam was stunned by his faith. Adrian simply stated that as a general, he could recognize talent. His confidence was infectious. Liam clenched his fist, promising to crush him. On the day of the match, the arena was electric. Travis shot him a look of pure disdain from across the tarmac, sneering that an Omega had no business touching a mech. Liam responded with a simple, eloquent middle finger before vaulting into the cockpit of his light frame machine. The canopy sealed, and the neural interface connected. Countdown complete. His mech shot forward, a blur of motion, its back thrusters flaring blue. Travis, piloting his heavy juggernaut, braced for a frontal assault, raising its armored arms. But at the last second, Liam executed a sharp, spinning brake, pivoting around the juggernaut's clumsy defense. A hidden vibroblade extended from his mech's arm, slicing upward into the unprotected joint of the juggernaut's right arm. With a screech of tearing metal, the heavy mech staggered back. Liam didn't hesitate. He pushed his controls to their limit, circling to his opponent's blind spot. His thumb hit the red button on his control stick. A high-frequency piledriver shot from his mech's fist, punching straight through the juggernaut's rear power core. Sparks erupted. The colossal machine froze, then crashed to its knees. The announcer declared Tobin the winner. As Liam emerged from his cockpit, the stunned silence of the crowd erupted into a deafening roar. Adrian approached Travis, who had crawled miserably from his ruined machine. The general looked down at him with contempt, remarking that a failure who couldn't even defeat an Omega had no place in his military. The match made Liam a star. His backstory was uncovered and broadcast everywhere. The family who sold him to fund his brother's career. Public sympathy swelled for him, while Travis and his parents became pariahs. The controversy sparked a massive public debate about the rights of Omegas, leading to the passage of a bill that outlawed their sale. He had become an idol, a symbol of hope. One evening, Adrian informed him they were attending a formal gala. Liam's only condition was that he would not wear a dress. Adrian, after a moment of exasperation, selected a tailored white suit for him that was both elegant and masculine. At the gala, he was the center of attention. Then, across the crowded room, he saw her, the woman from the auction. Her eyes, as captivating as he remembered, were fixed on him. Adrian was quickly surrounded by dignitaries, so he encouraged Liam to mingle with the other Omegas. But they shied away from him, their gazes a mixture of awe and fear. Dejected, he found a quiet corner. A moment later, the woman approached, 2 glasses of champagne in her hand. She offered him one, a warm smile on her face. She remembered him. He mumbled a shy affirmative. She called him cute and lamented with genuine regret how close she had been to winning him. Just then, he felt a chilling stare from across the room. Adrian was watching them. The woman, introducing herself as Amelia, noticed too. She remarked that the general was very protective. She slipped a business card into his hand, telling him to call her if Adrian ever tired of him, then drifted away. Adrian strode over, his face a thundercloud. He snatched the card from Liam's hand, dropped it, and crushed it under his heel. He grabbed Liam's wrist, his grip like iron. Liam cried out in pain and instinctively tried to bend down for the card, but Adrian yanked him into his chest. He was pulled so hard his nose collided with a metal insignia on the general's uniform. Adrian seized his chin, forcing him to meet his furious gaze. He hissed, questioning how Liam could be so quick to find another alpha the moment his back was turned. He mocked the idea that Amelia wanted anything more than a pretty new acquisition. Liam's whispered protests that he'd done nothing wrong were lost in the general's rising fury. Adrian snarled that he had been too soft, allowing Liam to entertain thoughts of escape. He dragged him from the gala. Back at the penthouse, he was slammed against a wall. The overwhelming scent of ozone choked the air. His struggles were useless. Adrian pinned his wrists behind his back with one hand, his other arm a steel band around Liam's waist. A raw panic seized him. He begged to be released, but Adrian's lips were at his neck, his voice a low growl of possession. The final, permanent mark was nothing like the first. The pain was sharper, a brutal tearing that felt like it was rewriting his very soul. It was a violation, an act of absolute ownership. His resistance crumbled under the onslaught of dominant pheromones, his body betraying him as the agony melted into a terrifying, all-consuming heat. He went limp, held up only by the arms that imprisoned him. Adrian's tongue licked the wound, and his voice, thick with satisfaction, echoed against his skin. Now he was truly his. The sting in his neck was a constant reminder that he was bound to Adrian for life. He cried for a full day. The general, seemingly consumed by his own anger, left him completely alone, moving into a guest room. For 3 days, a silent war raged in the cold, empty penthouse. Finally, Liam broke. He couldn't stand the oppressive silence any longer. He went to the kitchen and, with the help of the household staff, prepared a few of Adrian's favorite dishes. He waited at the dining table as the hours ticked by. The food grew cold. Late that night, The sound of a hover car finally broke the silence. Adrian entered, and with him came the sweet, cloying scent of another Omega. Liam froze, a wave of nausea and betrayal washing over him. He asked where he had been. Adrian seemed surprised to find him waiting up. He beckoned Liam over. Hesitantly, Liam approached, and the general pulled him into an embrace, promising he wouldn't be so late again. But the foreign scent was overpowering. Liam pushed him away and ran to the bathroom, retching. Adrian followed, rubbing his back and explaining quietly that it was just a business dinner, an accidental scent picked up in a crowd. After Liam was finished, Adrian cleaned his face with a damp towel and carried him back to bed. As he lay his head on the general's shoulder, he asked timidly if he was still angry. Adrian held his face, assuring him he wasn't. That night, they slept in the same bed again. Life settled into a new rhythm. To curb Liam's wandering eye, Adrian ensured all of his mech training partners were decidedly unattractive men. The strategy worked. With no distractions, Liam's skills skyrocketed. On his birthday, Adrian took him to a private research institute. There, in the center of a vast hangar, was a sleek light-frame mech, its body a cool metallic silver, with 2 pairs of folded metal wings on its back. Adrian told him it was a custom build, just for him. Overjoyed, Liam named it Silverwing. Then Adrian gave him the greatest gift of all. He had officially entered him into the next Grand Mech Tournament. As the first and only Omega competitor in the tournament's history, Liam was a media sensation. Headlines questioned whether the general's pet project could survive the first round. He ignored them all. In the cockpit, there was only the pilot and the machine. He and Silverwing were unstoppable. They tore through the competition, shattering prejudices with every victory. The skepticism of the media turned to breathless admiration. On the day of the finals, he faced his toughest opponent yet. The battle was long and grueling, but in the end, he executed a brilliant flanking maneuver, plunging Silverwing's blade into the enemy mech's power core. The stadium fell silent for a heartbeat, then exploded in a wave of sound that threatened to tear the roof off. As the cockpit opened, he pulled off his helmet, exhausted but triumphant. The massive screen declared him the champion. He, Tobin, was the first Omega in history to win the Grand Mech Tournament. During the awards ceremony, as he reached for the golden trophy under a shower of confetti, a sudden, sharp pain lanced through his abdomen. The world tilted and blurred, and he collapsed. He awoke in a hospital room, Adrian's hand holding his tightly, his face etched with worry. Liam assured him he was fine. Adrian's relief was palpable. He smiled, his eyes shining with an emotion Liam had never seen before, and told him they were going to have a baby. The word hung in the air, nonsensical. A baby. He, a man, was pregnant. His first instinct was a visceral rejection of the idea. But then he saw the pure, unadulterated joy in Adrian's eyes, and the words of protest died in his throat. The pregnancy was difficult, but Adrian was a constant, steady presence. He indulged every bizarre late-night craving, patiently cleaned up after bouts of morning sickness, and gently massaged away painful leg cramps in the dead of night. His meticulous care slowly melted away Liam's initial fear and resentment. Watching the powerful general press his ear to his swelling belly, his face alight with wonder at feeling the baby kick, Liam found himself starting to share in that anticipation. The birth was an agony of pain and fear. He screamed and cried, convinced he was dying, begging to give up. Through it all, Adrian was there, his voice a strained but constant anchor, promising him this would be the only time, that he would never let him suffer like this again. And then, a clear, strong cry cut through the haze of pain. It was over. They had a daughter. As the nurse placed the tiny, bundled infant in his arms, all the pain vanished, replaced by an overwhelming, fierce love. Adrian gathered them both into his arms, his protective scent enveloping his new family. In that moment, Liam felt a profound sense of peace. This was home. One evening, after their daughter was asleep, Adrian asked him if he wanted to go back to work. Liam's eyes lit up. Adrian explained that as the tournament champion, he was qualified for a direct commission in the military. He would be the first Omega officer in the Empire's history. The commissioning ceremony was a grand affair, broadcast across the nation. As he stood in his new uniform, a symbol of a revolution he had unintentionally started, the system's voice spoke in his mind one last time. It congratulated him on completing his ultimate mission, breaking the gender barrier and becoming a spiritual leader for Omegas. It wished him happiness, and then it was gone forever. Later, he looked at his reflection in a mirror. He saw not a beautiful prize or a biological anomaly, but a champion, an officer, a husband, and a father. He smiled. His new life was just beginning.